All right, this is gonna be Atlas's second session with the fly spray. So I just let him touch the bottle here, and when he touches it, I'll click and feed him a handful of hay. So I just wanna make sure he's fine with the bottle itself and make it a target, because sometimes just the bottle can be scary. And I want him to really associate seeing that with positive things and not getting worried that I'm gonna start spraying him. So I'm just gonna have him touch it from the other side, do the same thing. I'll hold it up for him, and then when he touches it, I'll click and go ahead and give him a handful of hay. Again, when his head's going up, he's just responding to the click, so he's a little excited. He raises his neck a little bit. It's not because he's worried about the bottle or that he touches the bottle and scares himself. It's just he's responding to the click, and we are working on that to make sure he's not necessarily nervous, but more like anxious and anticipating the click and the food. But just to point that out. But I'll let him touch it again. A bug was attacking my face, so it was kind of bad timing. I'm gonna go ahead and feed him. Like, he got a little scared, but then he kind of just relaxed right back down. So I'm gonna hold it away and spray it, and as soon as I spray it, I'm gonna click and then go ahead and feed him. So the goal here is to really associate and pair the two together. So every time there's a spray, it's gonna be very similar to the click. So go ahead, hold it, spray, and I'm click at the same time. So like, I click and I pair it with food, so I'll click and then feed. So then over time, the horse is like, oh, well, we want to hear the click. That becomes a secondary reinforcer. So what I'm trying to do is do the same thing with the spray. So again, I click and then go ahead and feed him. So then every time he hears the spray, he is like, oh, I'm going to get food. So then I'm pairing it positively versus chasing him around and waiting until he stands still and kind of forcing him to accept it. So this went a lot faster. This is his second time, and he is fairly wild still at this point. He's not halter broken. Like, it's a pretty good process. I've tried it the other way before, and it never worked. So I'm gonna go ahead and spray. But again, like, the horses that I had previously were ones where they had been scared before. So like, someone sprayed them and made them hold still, and just they felt trapped, and it was a bit more of a job. So I'm gonna have spray and click. To really redo that association that is to kind of start from the beginning, so he doesn't have a bad association to overcome. So do keep that in mind if you're working with a horse that has had prior bad experiences with the fly spray or anything else. It can take a little bit longer. But I'm just going to give him a second to chew and relax, and he's showing interest. He's coming up, so I'll kind of engage with him, let him hang out. I'm just moving over so that we're still saying far away, as far away as I can. I just stretch my arm out and spray away from him, because I don't want to get the bottle too close right away and kind of get him too scared. So I'm gonna click again. I just brought it a little bit closer. So I usually spray kind of in one position like a few times, and once he's good with that, I'll kind of move my arm in closer to him a few inches and keep doing that. If your horse is worried, then just kind of stay in that spot till they relax, maybe end the session, try again in a little bit or the next day, and kind of just build up. So you just gotta get used to reading your horse and kind of seeing where they're at. But he's really relaxed. His neck's nice and level. His ears are perked. He's trying to touch it. He's not super worried. He's more interested, and that's where I really wanted that. Him targeting the bottle in the beginning really helps me out there. So also another thing to think about is, I'm going to click and spray there at the same time, is that the bottle that your fly spray is in might sound slightly different than like this water bottle. So if your horse has a specific fear, go ahead and use like an old bottle that's empty and then fill it with water, just to get him used to that sound. But that's just something that you might run into during the desensitizing process. So I'm gonna click again. So this next clip here is gonna be the same thing, but just from my GoPro, and click right there so that you can kind of see the body positioning from like a realistic standpoint, because I have this on like the chest cam on my GoPro. So the water bottle is a little closer. This is from a different session, but you can kind of see the positioning here, and then the receiving of the treat. So it's just a cool little click, a little clip to kind of see that, because it's kind of hard to zoom in and it gets a little bit low quality. So, but he's looking around, he's engaged. So click, and he's not worried about the spray. Like, his face stays the same throughout. So that's pretty good. And back to the previous clip, so he's just chewing a big mouthful of hay here and relaxed. So I just kind of let him chew in between and brought it a little closer. I'm going to click and then go ahead and feed him. For the time being, at this point in time, he was still working on getting a treat from my hand, and he was worried about taking it from my hand, but he is fine with the hay. So we're just building confidence with that, like hand feeding with the hay he's okay with. So I'm going to transition him to like a hay pellet or pieces of hay cubes, but right now that's where we're at. I'm looking at something, but this is important video because although it's somewhat boring, is I'm letting him just kind of have chill time. So I spray, I click, I let him just hang out, chew his hay, I kind of look around, I kind of wait, like that. It's just like a casual training experience, really. I'm just going to let him have the time to process and think. And he wants to sniff the bottle, that's totally fine. So I'll go ahead and click him for touching it. And it's really important to go ahead and click there as I squirt, and let him just relax and chew and not just do it so much to where he gets real worked up and anxious. Even though we are using positive reinforcement, I don't want the tone to be really excited and worried. So this is another clip from a different session, and then I'm kind of showing the process here of working my way up to his shoulder and then getting to his shoulder and clicking for that. So this is going to be the next process. So that's a sped up version. I started out here, he's good there, move it a few inches toward him and keep going, and that's the end process. This is another clip. So the middle clip and these two are from the same session, and I'm just showing just spraying on his shoulder. So this is without the gradual buildup. I'm just spraying on the shoulder and allowing him to feel that, and then clicking once it kind of touches him. So I kind of keep the spray bottle a few inches away, so I'm not just directly spraying it. Even in the beginning, I might kind of hold it away and then angle it so like the wind will kind of blow the mist toward him so he can feel it, but it's as gentle and as light as possible so it doesn't scare him, and I'll click that. So this is going to mix up Atlas's second and third session with the fly sprays, but it helped out to see this angle, so I wanted to put them together. But I thought it was pretty interesting to see. My hay bag is in the way. But I would build up from the side. Okay, he's good with that squirt, move a few inches, squirt again. Okay, he's good with that, move up, and then he can squirt on the shoulder. So you can do that, or you can just build up and then kind of release and then spray, so you don't have to do it in a row. Either way.